5 pounds or 2.5 kilos of rice or oatmeal or whatever the staple food is of the land that you live in. And it's the sunnah to do it in the land that you are resident in. You're residing in the United States. It is not from the sunnah to take that zakat al-fitr and send it back home someplace. Rather, it's an obligation on you in the place that you live. And you cannot send it to the people that you have responsibility to take care of. However, you can give it to your mother-in-law because you're not responsible for her. But you cannot give it to your mother. Because your mother, it's your obligation to take care of her. If she doesn't have it, you're obligated to take care of her anyway. Zakat al-fitr is for those people who you are not obligated, who are poor, and who are in need of enough food. So that everyone, the purpose, the intent, the maqasid of the Sharia in this instance, the objective of the Sharia in this case is so that every Muslim, not non-Muslim. This is the Eid for the Muslims. A lot of people say, well, we want to give to the Muslims. This is not the place for giving to the kuffar. This is the time for you to give the zakat al-fitr to those poor Muslims who need it so they can have a good Eid for that day. No one should go hungry or struggle for enough food so they can have a nice feast on their Eid. So who are the people that deserve it? The people that deserve it in our society today, every woman that's not married and lives on her own. Every single mother who's struggling, even if she gets food stamps. Because it's not the government's job to provide for them. Rather, it's the Muslims' job to provide for them. And we are the Muslims, and the men are the ones who are responsible for the women and for their women folks. Every one of the students, these people who are students who travel, they're abid sabil, they're traveling on the way, or a traveler, and they're not mustaqirun in the land. They're not established here. This is not their homeland. They're only here in that situation of being a student at the college or something like that, or just someone who's sick in the hospital. We need to know these things. How would we know this? If we were following the sunnah of visiting the hospitals in your area. This is the area that you live in. This is the area that the masjid is established. You should be at the hospital. You should have people going to the hospital on a weekly basis, making their rounds, finding out what Muslims are there and what are their needs. And if this was the case, we find that most of the people that are in the hospital are poor people who have needs. And so these would be some of the people that deserve zakat al-fitr. And then the last but not least, are those brothers in the masjid that you know, and they don't tell you their situation, but as the Chinese say, you don't have to know a person's situation. All you have to do is visit them. When you visit somebody, you will learn what their situation is. So if we were visiting each other a little bit and getting to know each other, then we would know who here is deserving, who actually needs zakat al-fitr, or the little extra will help him in his life that day. Then these are the people that deserve zakat al-fitr. And then we have those people who come and ask. And in this country, we have to be careful. You know, a lot of people come to the masjid that are not Muslim, but they're familiar with Islamic tradition and the sunnahs of Islam. And so you see during their Eids, they come around and they ask, they want money. Don't give them money. We have rules for begging. And the rules for begging, if someone has to really beg, they have to bring 2 witnesses from amongst their people, 2 male witnesses from amongst their people, to come and bear witness to Allah in front of us that these people's situation is really like that. If they can't do that, then we are not only not obligated to give them any money, we're not supposed to give them any money, because everything has a particular route in how we go about doing it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Some of the other things that are strange for the Eid is we come to the masjid and a lot of people start making these different dua when they come to the masjid. The Prophet ﷺ, when he would leave for Eid al-Fitr, when he would leave his house for the Eid of Fitr, he would leave his house making the takbir. He would take his whole family out and he would be saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, raising his voice and doing it in the street as he's traveling to the masjid and saying La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. This is what we hear from Ibn Mas'ud. This thing, but there is room in here to make. But the thing about it is that he made the takbir and the tahleel. Those are the 2 things that the Prophet ﷺ did going to Eid al-Fitr. And then when he got to the Musalla, he would again make these takbirat and make this tahleel. And then when the salah was done, he would stop and he would not continue the takbirat after that. Which is different from Eid al-Adha, where the takbirat goes on for days, for days. This is not Eid al-Adha. This is Eid al-Fitr. And every act of ibadah, act of worship, has a particular formula and particular ritual that we're supposed to follow. And it is upon us to know which specific we're doing at which particular time, and not to confuse the two of them and make one into the other. And then there's the time where people come and they make the dua or they make the takbir and the tahleel together as in one voice, bil jama'ah. This is not from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, nor of the companions, nor of the tabi'een, nor of the atba' tabi'een. This is something that happened afterwards. Since it is something that happened afterwards, it is an innovation in the deen. It is a newly invented thing. Every man make your takbir to yourself. It may sound like some confusion, but rather it's going along with what we did in Ramadan. You are isolating yourself in the crowd and remembering your Lord. You are remembering your Lord. It's not the social part of the Eid has not begun yet. We're still in the individual ibadah. And then we stand, bidun nida, without any call, without any adhan. And we make the Salatul Eid. And we pray the Salatul Eid. One of the other things that we want to make a point of is that the Salah comes before the khutbah, opposite of Salatul Jum'ah. As I stated, every act of ibadah has a particular formula and minhaj. In Salatul Jum'ah, we stand up, we give the khutbah, and then we pray. In Salatul Eid, we stand up, we give the salah, we pray 2 raka'ah. And then those who want to sit, فَلْيَجْلِسْ. And those who want to leave, فَلْيَذْهَبْ. The Prophet ﷺ would have a mu'adhin stand up after they prayed. After they prayed. And he would say, whoever wants to listen to the khutbah, let him sit down. Whoever wants to leave, فَلْيَذْهَبُ. Let them go. So there's ease in there. You can go and there's no sin upon the person that leaves. Rather, he's just left with what is better. And who knows what his situation is anyway. He may have to go to work or whatever the situation is. We shouldn't judge the brother who leaves or the people who leave. Rather, there is freedom there, and the Prophet ﷺ has given it. Whoever wants to leave can leave. However, it is upon those people who are going to leave silently and not to confuse the people who are praying with their voices. It is not upon them to do that. What? Rather, they should leave quickly and quietly. Quickly and quietly, and respect the people who have decided to stay and listen to the khutbah. This is from the sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ, when he would come to the Eid, he would not pray sunnah. However, the Eid was not prayed in a masjid. So if the people are coming to the masjid to pray, and they want to pray the Eid because we don't have room, we have a rule in the Sharia. Obligation is dropped when you don't have ability. If there's no ability, then the obligation is dropped. So if we don't have the ability to go to some place bigger or find room, and we have la bud min salat al-Eid fil masjid, then when you come to the masjid, pray 2 raka'at sunnah. Pray tahiyatul masjid. Inshallah, wa la haraj. And those people say, well, you know, it's the Eid, you don't pray that. Leave it alone. Let the people know, like Ibn Abdullah ibn Mubarak used to say, let the people who speak, speak. Let the ones who know speak, and let those who don't, let them be quiet. And not confuse upon their brothers, because the differences won't be so wide. So if we're going to pray Salatul Eid in the masjid, and the person comes and he prays 2 raka'ah, Salat Tahiyatul Masjid, فَخَيْر. If the person who doesn't normally come to the masjid, or يَعْتَبِرُ الْمَسْجِدْ markaz, or he thinks the masjid is not really a masjid, but rather it's just an Islamic center where we gather and do all the fairs, the school, the class, and this type of thing, and he doesn't pray, فَالْخَيْر. Then let him, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. The deeds are done by the intention, and in this case, there is some room. In this case, there is some room for understanding. The proof of it is that we see that sometimes things might be confusing and both be accepted. Is the famous hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he told them, don't pray till you get to the place of Banu so-and-so, and some prayed before, and some prayed once they got there, and the Prophet ﷺ allowed both. Here, because the situation is that of we're in the land of the kuffar, and we don't have that ittasa al-makan to do what we want to do, then let this understanding go, and don't use it as a reason to yatafarraqu, to be divided amongst ourselves. Rather, use this as a way to show this is the flavor of Islam in a place that it is allowed. If someone forgets to give the sadaqatul fitr before he goes to the Eid, and he goes and gives it afterwards, this is not qada. This is no longer sadaqatul fitr. Rather, this is just a regular sadaqah. It's just a regular charity.